Hello everybody and welcome back. Today's video is kind of a startup for a project that I mean to do over the Christmas season. And well, it does need a few things like loads of switches. It's going to require some LEDs, and I'm going to use whatever I have left. It's going to require working on some wood, and there will be some other requirements and stuff, but I don't even know where this is going to go. I do have a prototype that I can show you, and the prototype is this here. So anybody care to guess what it's going to be? No? Yeah? Maybe? So it's going to have a lot of switches. As you can see, the switches are already on here. It's going to be exactly this size, which is about 38 centimeters by 15. Or I think it's more than 15. And yeah. So let me give you a hint of what it's going to look like when it's done, because I just finished making the front part, and it's going to look like this. Now, over the past couple of years, I've been collecting hardware, but there's just some hardware that you're not going to be able to collect, and well, this, among a few, is one of them. So I'm probably never gonna own an Apple I or even an Apple II. So I'm not going to own the first PC. But I thought, well, let's just make something that looks like it. And I've been looking at a lot of retro projects over the past couple of weeks. In fact, I do have some retro hardware on order, but I don't think it's going to get here during the Christmas holiday season. So I thought, let's make my own, and as always, take everything I have and turn it open source. Now, the plan for this is I want to, first of all, make this front because I really like it, and there is somebody who will be retiring this year, and I want to give him one of these fronts, so I'm already 100% there. So I thought, well, there are a lot of other projects that use Arduinos or other hardware to emulate an Altair 8800, and let's just make my own. And my plan right now is to use a TNZ and to use addressable LED strips for the indicators, and cheap switches from eBay for the inputs, and just see where it goes. Maybe this will just be the front end for an emulator that runs on a PC and just has an USB interface. I don't know yet, but I thought I'd record some of it, and I'd open source whatever comes out of it. So let's get it out of here. This part here did turn a little bit crispy right at the bottom here. This doesn't happen too often, only if there's too much glue in the wood. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to have to clean that up, of course, but I think for a real retro project like this one, wood is just fine, because it actually makes it look old, and it makes it look non-original. I like that. So I also spent a lot of time on the design. I made some minor tweaks just to get it a little bit smaller, and to make sure that all of the LEDs are at the right spacing for for these strips here. And but apart from that, I really like the way it turned out. It's really clean, and it looks quite nice. Yeah, let's get some of these things removed here. And I also made some 3D printed nubs to put in here that will make it look like real old LEDs. That is going to look not original, but quite close to that. I need something to poke this through. That one didn't come out well. So whoever's saying this is not the right tool for this, you're right. I did get some new 3mm plywood, but this stuff just doesn't cut well. There's I don't know what the issue is, but the old stuff didn't smoke as much and had cuts that were a lot better than this. So the idea, and I'm going to do these here later because they need a little bit more persuasion. The idea is to have one of the boards go in the back of the other, and then to have the switches just protruding slightly, like in the original. And once I've done that, I want to make LEDs or LED nubs that I have, and I want to figure out if I'll have them poking through here a long way, or if I just have them poking through like a millimeter or two. Depends on how it looks. So let's get this cleaned up. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so all of the holes are cut through now. I went and took a drill bit to each and every one of them. The only one that didn't really like to play nice was this one here. No idea why. I suspect there's too much glue between the layers of the wood. I've had that before. It just makes it smell really badly. By the way, these are the LED nubs, so I 3D printed them using resin, and let's see if we're gonna put them right behind here and have them poke out quite wide, or put them in from all the way from the back and just have them protrude for about 1.5 to 2 millimeters, if I calculated this correctly. The nuts on the switches are on this side here, and they will separate the two layers by about 1.5 millimeters. I don't have any spacers here. I will have to make something, or maybe just take a few of the leftover nuts and place them around select LEDs. Yeah, let's try that. So I'm going to take one of the LED nubs press it in from the back. Now we have an LED that isn't one coming in from the back, and maybe one of these screws will fit over here. Yeah, that works well. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. And just use 3 of those as spacers. I believe I would actually have spacers that I could use, but these nuts are just left over, so let's use them. So that one doesn't fit. Let's try another one. This isn't as easy and straightforward as I thought it was going to be. Well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just pause and bring you back in a minute or so. Oh, this may need a whack with a hammer. So, one last one here. One. So. Now if we join these up and push this through, oh yeah. This looks nice. So I have the switches all the way in the front. You can hardly see where they poke through. And the LEDs actually line up very nicely with the front. Doesn't actually have that vintage look. Maybe I'll make some slightly taller LED nubs. But for a start, this isn't bad. I could actually live with this. Let's put some more in there. So I created all of this front panel stuff in SketchUp. That was quite a lot of work, but I do have the benefit that using SketchUp, I can export this to G-code basically directly, and have the cutting and the engraving made both from the same model, which does save some time. Not a lot, but some time. This one doesn't fit too well. This one doesn't fit at all. Oh. Let's try another one. Yeah, that one fits perfectly. I think I'm going to run out of those little nubs before I'm finished. Oh, that one's broken. That one doesn't want to go in. One's got. So here we go. That looks kind of nice. See if I can find some more. I should have more. Well, I should have enough, or I thought I had more than enough. So I do have enough. I just had to find them. So I'm not sure that these are all the way down over the switches. It could be that there's some issue, or some of the switches aren't all the way down. But I'm going to have to take it back apart. The whole structure is going to be held together by a frame that will slot into these 4 slots at the side, and depending on how I want to have it, I can either have something like a T-slot over here so it doesn't slip out, and fasten it from the back, or just glue them to the wood that goes through the slot, and then it will have a stand where it can just stand up like this. So it will be very, very small, as opposed to some of the other emulators that are out there. But it's really solid. And I do have the wrong switches in the lower row. These are switches that stay on, and they're not just toggles, but they're on back order, and I hope to have them by next week. And then I can start out thinking about if I'm actually going to do an emulation, or if this is just going to be a nice little front end. But for a start, this looks really nice. I really like it. Came out very well. Absolutely. And it's so simple. It was a lot of work, but in the end it is really, really simple. So yeah, this is my next little project, and it's going to be retro. And yeah, hope to see you back here. Bye bye.